This tutorial works on another aspect of the proposal for the final created essay. If our students are in English 101, 102, or 1B, there are more opportunities to explore different kinds of themes. Let's take a look at two examples. We know we've already looked at a crime example in the selected picture that we chose that had to do with a speakeasy. Now let's look at two more examples of different types of narratives we might be able to write. The first picture I selected is a picture showing three women. One of them is obviously having a birthday. One of them has a little gift. So what do we do first? That's right, we copy the picture and put it into our template. Here I am in that template, and I'm going to put the title image right here. So here I am, and I don't know what the working title is going to be just yet because I haven't really crafted the idea for the story. So this woman needs to learn a lesson, and these folks seem to be of a certain age, so maybe she needs to learn a lesson about positivity. And so the theme of that might be this. Let's go with attitude is everything. Now this isn't a crime, so the lesson to be learned is, I'll type this in. So instead of a crime, this character learns, a woman dealing with her aging years learns that positive thinking, actions, and words make for a happy life. Statement of theme, attitude is everything. Now, what's this story? So let me think about this a minute, I'll be right back. Okay, so I'm thinking about this picture and what folks arriving at older age go through, and I know I'm beginning to know a little bit about that. And one of the things that I've observed is that there is a fear, a very natural fear, that a person is going to become irrelevant and invisible in a room. And that while the young people are taking over and running things, and they are becoming less and less important. So I'm starting with a very mild crisis for Laura. Laura, we've decided, is this person. Okay, so Laura had a scary visit to her doctor. A biopsy was planned, and Laura found herself getting more and more depressed. The biopsy showed a mild tumor, which was easily removed. Still, Laura believed the end of days was in sight. Near a breaking point, Laura's friends Joan and Willa stepped in and, through a series of events, joined a Walk for AIDS fundraiser. Laura's birthday wish had come true. Let me fix that. Laura's wish has come true. I love editing by reading it out loud, don't you? She was now relevant and excited about her life. Now, I haven't filled in the entire narrative here, but this is the brief summary. And I don't know why I thought I could do this in 2 or 4 sentences, because it may take a little bit more like this, but there you go. Now the primary characters obviously will be Laura and the antagonist. And the antagonist that wants the protagonist to fail is not a human being. The antagonist is that side of Laura that is afraid of getting older, that's afraid of being invisible in a room, that's afraid that she won't matter to anyone. And so the antagonist really in this particular story is going to be the side of the protagonist that wants her to fail. And the main supporting character, and we're going to have a few because we know that the two ladies here are going to be important. But she's going to be doing a Walk for AIDS fundraiser, so she needs to meet at some point an AIDS patient. So I'm going to put that in as the main supporting character. And I'm going to make that main supporting character Leonard, a young man who's receiving treatments for AIDS. Maybe Laura meets him when she's at the hospital getting this biopsy. And her two friends are going to be also important to the story because they're going to lift her up. And she finds out that they are actually going to be competing in this walk. And that's what inspires her. But if this is going to be the big thing that we're going to end up, that her character is going to come to full fruition when she does this walk, then we need a main supporting character who will really be the catalyst for that. By catalyst, I mean it, but not for this character. She might not have made this big change in her life. And so I would say then this character is relevant to the protagonist, right? And now the motif, the world of the story is, if it's going to happen in Los Angeles, we want to make Los Angeles as that town that we know. She could be from a little town. It just depends on which way we decide to go with this. And I'm going to create the world by studying something. If I pick a little town and I want her to be from a tiny town, because it's very easy for people to become invisible in medium-sized towns, and maybe I'm going to pick that. And if I do, then I have to study that town, don't I? I need to find pictures about it. I need to find out what they're, what's going on there. Maybe I watched a film or I did something that helped me understand that. So now the tone of this story is going to change, isn't it? The tone is going to be dark at the opening. She's going to be depressed. She's going to be wearing something, that she doesn't care about. Maybe she's just given up all life, right? Okay. And so the tone is very important. And the color scheme of the story is going to be what? I need to decide that. So you've got your color scheme of the hospital situation, which typically, white walls and, but then this character, this Leonard character, he's filled with hope. He's filled with excitement, and he's been given a chance to get these AIDS treatments, and he believes that he's going to be better. So maybe his colors are rainbow and exciting, right? So I can decide this as I go along. The recurring symbol in this story is what? Let me think about it. I'll be right back. So to help me find a symbol, I went to Google and I typed in symbols for AIDS recovery, because that's what gets her out of herself and into the spirit of the sunlight. And I clicked images, and I see these red ribbons. Okay, so I put the recurring symbol in this story is red ribbon. The symbol represents Laura. Let me make this a better sentence. Oh, now let's try it. Laura is given a red ribbon on her hospital gown for the tumor procedure. The red, she thinks, symbolizes death. But as she grows in the story, the red ribbon becomes a symbol of hope. Yes, I like it. So a symbol changes in this case, and the symbol is only relevant to her. So we're going to write this in third person. And back over there where I just looked at that that little article that was on, or the images, yes, I do. I need to cite those. So let's go over to EasyBib. I've just logged into EasyBib, and I'm going to go down here and I'm going to create this project. I'm going to call it Final Narrative Essay because I don't have a title just yet. And there's my project. And I'm going to start adding some citations. Create a new citation. Website. I'm going to paste the URL from that page that I just saw. Search. And I'm going to cite it. And all it's giving me right now is a URL. This isn't going to work, is it? We can't just have a URL as our website. So I'm going to change this, and I'm going to go in and I'm going to revise it. And what I'm going to do, instead of trying to cite all of this page in Google, I'm going to click on one of these images and go to the article where it came from. And I'm going to look at all of these and see, we don't want Wikipedia. I don't want Wikipedia at all. So I'm going to pick one of these and I'm going to open up that website. Hold on. When I clicked on the image, it took me to this website. And I'm going to take that URL instead of the one that I was using, and I'm going to go back to EasyBib. And I'm going to 86 that last one because it's not going to be a proper citation. So we're just going to go ahead and cite that website. I'm going to paste that URL where we just were, search, and let it absolutely show this particular website. Okay, and it found it, so I'm going to let it cite it. EasyBib found it. I'm going to click continue down here. And this brings up that information for any of the little box items that we need to add. We don't really care about the author. All we took from this was the red ribbon, so we really don't need any of this additional information. So we're going to complete the citation, and it shows up here, and we don't need any of this, so we're just going to ignore this. And now we have the citation. Yes? And remember, when we've added up our citations as we complete this, remember, as always, we will select all. There'll be this one and a couple or 3 more. Export. Word. Export. And down in the tray in our computer, the beautifully formatted Works Cited show up. All I need to do is copy this, go back over to my proposal, and this is the working bibliography, and I paste it right there. See how pretty? Now, of course, I will go on and do this, the rest of this. Now we gotta find a working title. Let me think. I'll be right back. I'm going to go with a ribbon for Laura and repeat that symbol of the red ribbon. And because I'm just fun this way, I'm going to change that font. Okay, so I'm going to go with this, and then I'll put in my name, the course, the narrative proposal, the date, and the word count. And I'll highlight all of this and get my word count. All right? Let's look at one more suggestion for a different type of a narrative proposal. This time I'm going to select a picture, and I'm going to tell a story from a different point of view. I'm going to tell this story from the point of view of this dog right here. Not the lead dog, but the second lead dog. And I'm going to discuss this whole situation going on. And so let's go over and play with our template. Just as we did before, I copied that image and put it right there. And we know that this dog is going to be our focus. Now, the dogs are not committing a crime, but there is a lesson to be learned. So let's change this to what we're going to be doing. So this is going to be a lesson learned rather than a crime committed. So let me think a minute about what lesson this dog is going to learn. Okay, I'm going to go through this one pretty quickly. I decided on the working title as A Second Storm. Again, this is our protagonist right here. This is Hunter, and Hunter has been moved into second slot position on the sled team, which means he is no longer the first lead dog. And so learns to rely on his brothers and sisters for help, and the statement of the theme is ask and ye shall receive. Hunter was a lead dog for 2 years. The sled team had succeeded on one rescue mission after another for 3 years. Now Hunter is a spirited 4-year-old Malamute who must ask for help when an accident dismantles the team. It is by asking for help from his fellow sled dogs that Hunter realizes that his strength only gets better when he allows others to help him. Primary character protagonist is Hunter. The antagonist is Mother Nature, because it's the storm that comes up that wants Hunter to not survive. And so it's Mother Nature is the force that wants the protagonist to fail. And then the main supporting character is Sitka. Sitka is this lead dog right there. And Sitka is going to be the dog that helps him whenever he is overwhelmed by the storm. The world of the story is Alaska. I'm creating the world of the story, studying, I don't know what I would study on ebooks about sled dog rescue teams, but I certainly can find a lot about that on the internet. Maybe I watched a film, maybe I didn't. It just depended on whether I needed to watch that to get the world of the story in my head. The tone of the story is active and adventurous, so I'm going to be using lots of action words. running and racing words and dramatic words for the snowstorm, so it's going to be a very active and adventurous tone in the story. Color scheme is white, blue, and red plaid. I'm going to have the sled dog, musher is what they call him. Instead of this guy, he's going to be in a red plaid shirt, and they are going on a rescue team rather than on this Iditarod race. So I will Photoshop this and make this more plaid. That's how they're going to find the musher later on in the story. The symbol is wind. If Mother Nature is the antagonist, then I kind of want to make that recurring symbol the wind. The story opens on a calm winter day, no wind, when the wind of the storm encircles Hunter as he is swept away. When he is rescued by Sitka, Hunter feels the wind calming as he accepts help from a friend. Pretty simple, straightforward. The narrative is written in third person. There's no way I'm going to try to write this in first person from the point of view of the dog. There's no way, because the dog only, if I do that, then I'm limited to what the dog can see and what the dog can feel. If I take the third person omniscient perspective, then I know what all the dogs are thinking, and I know what they are planning, and they are all working together. And it's always very interesting, and I've been on dog sleds before and seen them when I grew up in Alaska, and it's very interesting to watch the dynamics of a sled team. And I know that there are lots of YouTube tutorials that I can study on that, and lots of websites, but to me it's always been very interesting to think about who is the dog back here. And in my experience in watching the dog sleds that I've seen, these dogs in the back are pretty much happy to be in the back, and they really are part of the initial workforce. But it is these lead dogs that are planning where we're going, and they keep the whole sled on course. And that's always made me wonder, yeah, so we know that these are the war horses back here that get everything going, and we know that these dogs out front are the ones that are planning the route. It always makes me wonder, what about this guy right here? How did they feel about being second? And that's why I thought The Second Storm might be a fun title. All right, so these are two examples of ways that you might want to go, in addition to the other examples that I showed you about crimes. Because you are in English 102, 101, or 1B, you have a wonderful, wide open possibility of finding any number of different approaches to storytelling. That concludes this tutorial.